Hey, what is up guys? My name is Oleg, this is Mr. Bond. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to do a full review of Orient Bambino. This watch was sent to us from a company called dutyfreeislandshop.com. They have reached out and offered to send one of their watches in for the review. They are of course a large online retailer of watches. This is really cool because a lot of you ask me, why don't I review this watch? Why don't I review that watch? And the truth is, I don't have access to a lot of these watches unless I purchase them myself or unless I know somebody else who owns one of these watches. So that's why until now I haven't reviewed Orient Bambino. I simply didn't have access to one. So huge thank you to dutyfreeislandshop.com for sending this watch in for the review. And if you guys are looking for some watches, please go ahead, check them out. I'll leave a link to their website in the description below. Now, let's talk about the Orient Bambino. Let's start the review as always by looking at the case dimensions. So the watch has a 40mm case diameter. It is 47mm from one lug to another. It has a surprising 21mm lug width, and it's only 11.7mm thick. And here's what the watch looks like on my 7.5-inch wrist. I think it fits really well. 40mm for a dress watch is a bit on the larger side. However, I think this one does wear well. It pulls off that case diameter quite nicely. It is also a light watch at 66.5 grams, so you don't really notice it on your wrist. I also like how slender it is. Even though 11.7mm is not that thin, a lot of it does come from this domed crystal, and you can't really see the domed crystal on the wrist. So the watch does wear even slimmer than the actual thickness would suggest. Orient Bambino, for the most part, is not a controversial watch. Seems like most people like it. Although there is quite a bit of hype about this watch, a lot of people say that this is the essential watch, the essential affordable dress watch for a lot of watch collections. And the only reason why I haven't got one for my personal collection yet, because I don't really wear dress watches all that much, and if I wear a dress watch on occasion, I usually tend to wear something more vintage. However, this one here is a very nice watch. I've seen online reviews of this watch, I've seen one in person here and there, but I never really worn one, I never even spent much time with it until now. And I can tell you, in person, it does look and feel a lot nicer than it does in pictures and even in some videos. So first of all, the finish. The finish on the watch is quite nice. It's brushed finish on the sides of the case and a polished finish on top of the lugs. It also has this polished finish to the bezel. It does give the watch kind of a nice shine. It reflects light well. It has a crown at the 3 o'clock position. It's not a screw down crown, so it's a simple push-pull style crown, giving this watch only 30 meters of water resistance. But then again, you don't really need much more than that on a dress watch. The crown is signed with the Orient logo. Taking a look at the case back. The case back is kind of plain and simple. It's all polished finish to it, just has an Orient logo in the center and some writing around it. It is all polished, so that will be a scratch magnet. I haven't had this watch for that long. I had it for about a week or so, and I still have the protective plastic on it. But I've seen some pictures and videos of case backs on these watches been really scratched up. So if a pristine case back is important to you, maybe consider putting a sticker or some kind of protective film on the case back of your watch. At the front, we have this domed mineral crystal. It's not an acrylic crystal, which is kind of a negative. So first of all, it's a negative that it's not a sapphire crystal. After a sapphire crystal, my second choice for a crystal would be actually acrylic, especially on a dress watch, because your dress watches, you don't tend to scratch up all that much in the first place. And if you do scratch up the acrylic crystal, they're very easy to buff out the scratches from. I even have a video talking about how easy it is to buff out scratches from acrylic crystals with some toothpaste and a nail filer. However, this one here has a mineral crystal, which is not very easy to deal with, and if you do scratch yours up, getting rid of those scratches is much tougher. So a bit of a negative. At $150 US, I think we have been spoiled with a lot of these Chinese specials and a lot of micro brands that already put sapphire crystals on their watches. So not having a sapphire on this one, yeah, that's a negative. There are 4 different designs of this watch. There are 4 different generations of Orient Bambino. This is Orient Bambino 2nd generation. In my opinion, this one is the most beautiful. I really love the dome dial. Dome dials are not easy to do, so it's impressive that they were able to do such a good looking dome dial in this price category. Also like the applied indices. They don't have too much depth, but I think they pulled this off pretty well. It also has a date at the 3 o'clock position. In my opinion, the date window is a bit undersized, so I'm going to consider that as a negative. Maybe increase the size of a date window by a little bit. As you can see, there's a border around the date window, and that border is much wider than the date window itself. So my personal opinion, increase the size of a date window or just get rid of the date window altogether. Not much writing on the dial of this one, just has the Orient logo by the 12 o'clock position and says water resistant closer to the 6 o'clock position and Japanese movement all the way at the bottom. So let's actually talk about the movement. So this watch has Orient caliber F6724 automatic movement. We are familiar with this movement. I think it's the same movement as I had in my Orient Mako 2. Basically has 22 joules, beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, has a power reserve of about 40 hours. And this one here is pretty accurate. I'm getting within 10 seconds per day. Solid movement, hackable and hand-windable. Of course has a date complication and a quick set for the date. So can't really complain about the movement at all. In fact, it's an in-house made movement, which is very impressive for a watch of this price category, around $150 US. The watch comes with this genuine leather strap. The quality of the strap is not great. It's very stiff, it feels very plasticky. I would strongly recommend you replace your strap if you do pick up one of these watches. Now that becomes a bit challenging because for some reason Orient decided to go with a 21mm lug opening, which makes finding straps for this watch a lot harder, and you probably don't have any 21mm leather straps lying around the house. I don't know, very puzzling choice, probably one of the biggest negatives for me personally about this watch. And the last small negative I will mention about this watch is the fact that the seconds hand doesn't reach out all the way to the running seconds track. I really like the set of hands in general. It's kind of these Dauphine style hands. They look really good, definitely give some good dimension to the watch. However, the fact that this seconds hand is too short, that's a negative for me. My personal opinion on the watch is as follows. For $150 US, I think this is a great watch. I don't think it's the best value for money of a watch you can buy on the market right now, but it is very solid. The quality is definitely there and it looks great. If you are looking for an affordable and reliable dress timepiece, I think you can't really go wrong with Orient Bambino. I appreciate you watching this video until the end. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, that helps out quite a bit. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about Orient Bambino watches and do you have any in your collection. And once again, huge thank you to dutyfreeislandshop.com for sending this watch in for the review. And if you're looking for some watches, check out their website, maybe you'll find something that you like. By the way, today on my wrist, I'm wearing a vintage Timex watch. It's a very cheap watch. I think I paid 5 or 8 Canadian dollars for it at the flea market. It works great, has a hand wind movement. It's currently sitting on a Bond NATO strap. I will leave a link to Bond NATO straps in the description below if you want to pick one up. Also in the description below, there is a secret link. Have a look if you're curious. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
You like your stick?